M&T Bank presents CEOs You Should Know, powered by iHeart Media.
Let's meet Olivia Coffey. She is the founder, CEO, and executive director for Youth EmpowerME Foundation. Before we talk more about Olivia's nonprofit and what they do, I first asked her to talk a little bit about herself, where she's from, and her origin story.
I grew up in Prince George's County, Maryland. Went to a high school in Largo. High school was Largo High School. But I stayed here when I went on to college. I graduated from Howard University. I got a bachelor's in business administration there, and then I went on to George Washington University. I stayed local, and I have a master's in education and human development.
Outstanding.
So I am a.
I'm sorry. We talked to so many lifers that have stayed in the community, and you went to two really cool schools. I mean, Howard is the best, and in my industry, I've met a lot of kids that have got into broadcasting from Howard, and GW is wonderful too. So you've been an educator for over 30 years, and, you know, putting 3 decades is remarkable, especially all that education has been through in the last 3 decades, and I'm sure you and I could spend hours talking about the good, the bad, and the ugly of it. But with all that said, let us know about your interest in getting into education. I know specifically you've been a school counselor, but tell us about that interest in getting into that line of work.
Well, as I said, I graduated with a business administration degree, and I didn't feel fulfilled. I worked actually for private industry, and I didn't feel fulfilled as far as being able to really help and serve, because I've always wanted to really serve and help others, just feel inspiring others. So I decided to go back to school, and I've always been really good at, I guess, working with children. My sister and I are like 8 years apart. And then I was always in my neighborhood. I was like the go-to for babysitting. I had my little babysitting business. So I've always loved children. So I focused on, how can I help children? I knew I didn't think I had what it took to really be a teacher, but I always had a heart for kids, and I wanted to help them do their best and be their best. So I decided to go into the counseling field. And since I love working with children, I wanted to work with elementary school age children. So I've always been an elementary school counselor, professional counselor. And I love it. I don't want to ever go to any other level like high school or middle school. But I do want to I think children, are eager to learn as well as eager to listen. And you could really, really help them. Just mold them into that little being that will become a productive citizen. It's just easier to do that when they're younger. So that's why I continue to stay in that career, my career of being a elementary school counselor.
Olivia, I almost chuckled when you said that I don't want to go anywhere, because you and I have college kids, and we both know that in middle school and high school it gets rough.
It does.
On parents and educators when they get a little bit older. So I don't think any of our parents, including myself listening right now to our chat, disagree with wanting to stay with the young people. All right, so we're here to talk about Youth EmpowerME Foundation, and this is really cool that you've done this. And what I also find extraordinary is after 3 decades of being an educator and a counselor that you wanted to start something different and do something for yourself, but also for parents and kids out there, and kind of take it to the next level. So what I'd like to, before we hear a mission statement and before we get into capabilities about Youth EmpowerME Foundation, I'd love to hear the origin idea about why you started this and kind of educate myself and our listeners about 3 decades in the industry of being an educator. Now you're starting this. Tell us why.
Well, I believe that parents really need help. As a school counselor, I have been pouring my time and soul in helping children, help them be good decision makers, giving them the tools of being effective communicators, and just trying to help parents convey some of the same lessons that I've given the students that I've worked with for so many years. When I first became a counselor, I really had the time to really do parenting workshops and that sort. I used to work for DC Public Schools. So I could have like a morning parent workshop or evening parent workshop. And now as a counselor, the role has really changed. We focused on test taking skills, helping children relieve stress and be better test takers. We focused on, academically just being a support for the teachers. But now we really, as school counselors, especially with elementary school kids, we really have to help them with social skills more so than anything else. Because of the pandemic now, you have children that really need to gain those problem-solving skills and to be able to effectively interact with others, those life skills and social skills that you need to be successful, and they don't have that, unfortunately. Families aren't as I guess, your traditional family anymore. You have lots of unique families. You have families that maybe the child has a step parent or a single mom. Maybe they're living with relatives. Maybe they've experienced trauma. So parents really need the help to kind of fulfill those needs, those socio-emotional needs for their children. And that's one of the reasons why I started this foundation. Just before the pandemic, parents were at their wits' end trying to help their kids virtually learn, and also to provide that stimulus for them socially, because now we're shut down. We can't interact. We can't have those play dates. So a lot of children, unfortunately, especially in my population, social media has been a challenge. Children are exposed to things that normally they aren't usually exposed to at the age that that now that they have all this information that, they're not really equipped to be able to process. So we need to help parents learn how to develop those skills and those tools to kind of help them train up their children, sure, as the Bible says. But we want to make sure that they can really help their children, but also parents need to be able to help themselves too, because they're going through some of the same things socially and emotionally.
Yeah, I agree with that. And you know as well as I do, being a parent, there's no handbook that's going to help you. You're flying by the seat of your pants. And then you start to throw in social media and what school can be like and life in general for a young person. There's a lot of difficult waters to navigate that are just very intense. So I did want to ask you this. Let's do a 30,000-foot view when it comes to Youth EmpowerME Foundation. What is your mission statement?
So our mission is to help give parents the tools to raise productive citizens. And how we do that, we provide family activities. We provide mentorship, not only mentorship for the children, but mentorship for the parents. We provide resources and events that focus on social and life skills.
I think that's really well said, and we're going to get into capabilities, and you touched on just a few of them right now, but you're in Southern Maryland. How wide of a net do you cast about who can work with you when it comes to families?
We're focusing now on the DMV. The events, our signature event, Empower Her, Empower Me, ideally, I would like to make sure that we can take that event in other states in the United States. Because even though if you live in Michigan or if you live in Maryland, it's some of the same challenges that parents face. One of the things that our signature event provides is a village for moms, pretty much. And the moms are given resources, and they're meeting other business owners that could help them help their children with success. And so that's our mission, is to be a village, because we know moms especially, we focus on moms in our signature event because moms really need help. They're at their wits' end. And dads are important, but we want to make sure that the family is able to get the tools that they need. And the moms are the foundation of the family. And so we kind of focus on kind of helping that mother be able to help her family grow.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. You're more or less an ally to them and to try and help them along with these crazy waters that we talk about navigating. So with all that said, I imagine that a common theme that you're hearing from parents, especially with today's young people out there, especially when they get a phone in their hands and then they're on social media, and some parents aren't capable of really understanding the depth of social media or aren't on it all the time and understand how intense it can be, not only for kids in general, but especially for young women. I have a daughter who's 20, and I've watched some pretty rough things on social media over the last 10 years. With all that said, I imagine the words mental health come up a lot when you talk to parents. Maybe you could address that a little bit, because you've been an educator for 3 decades. I'm sure you thought and seen mental health issues way before we started talking about it, and now the kind of quality the young people have today, it's intense out there, as you mentioned. So maybe talk a little bit about that.
You're right, because now since children are being exposed to things that typically children aren't usually exposed to through social media is just like the jungle for kids. And a lot of times, even I'm a boy mom, and my husband and I both try desperately to kind of refrain from giving our children phones, because we didn't want them to have that access. But what my young adults tell me now is that even though they didn't have access to a phone and to the social media, their peers did. So they were able to still see those images and hear about those behaviors through their peers. And then they were able to get access through their peers. I mean, my sons told me how they would borrow a friend's phone and hook it up to our Wi-Fi without us knowing it.
Yeah.
So a lot of times as parents, you feel that you're sheltering your kids, you're making sure they don't have access. But unfortunately now we're living in a day where children have access because their friends do. And so now they are aware of certain negative behaviors, and they're exhibiting these behaviors in the classroom. And parents are not being heard as loud as they could be, because now they're competing with those images and those behaviors that children are seeing when they're not with their parents. So that's a big challenge. So it really, when a child is exposed to things that they really should not be exposed to, that causes certain behaviors. And also with the video gaming and things like that with boys, that causes them to have, sometimes they're very impulsive because they're used to that stimulus, that they're not used to really focusing and paying attention, because they are used to that access to the video world. So it's a little different when they come into the classroom. And then they're sort of stifled with the social skills, because now you're pretty much, your communication is in the technical world, and you're not face to face, and you're not learning how to communicate, to listen, and to follow instructions, because your free time is spent on, dealing with the media, social media and video gaming and things like that. So now you have children that you have to kind of help them with that face-to-face to be able to socially interact and to take turns talking, and to be able to be good listeners, but also to be able to focus. And that's what I believe the technology and the gaming and the social media is really hard for children to focus when they have that challenge or that competition with, the media and technology.
I think it's well said, and boy, we could talk about this for hours, especially being parents, both you and I, and all the different peaks and valleys when it comes to social media and interaction and social skills and education. You did mention your tentpole event that you just had. I was curious what you learned from it, and what do you have planned next?
Empower Her, EmpowerME, that's a passion that I have. It's a day for moms and daughters together to learn, to get the tools that they need to be restored, to restore their relationship, to renew their relationship, and to educate them on the things that they need socially and emotionally in order to be successful, not only together as a team, but also individually. So Empower Her is from a mom's perspective, a part of the name of the event. EmpowerMe is for the mom to be able to be empowered as well, empowering her daughter, empowering me as well, because those two are a wonderful, strong bond that we need to make sure that we nurture. Because today in this world that we live in, and I know I've been a school mom for 30 years, really, and I know many of my female students sometimes don't have that bond, or they don't feel comfortable with really being transparent as they are with me. And I know firsthand, my mom and I had a really good relationship. I'm actually a product of domestic abuse. So my mom and I were really close, and my mom had a village that consisted of grandparents, aunts and uncles, close family friends that you would call relatives, but they really weren't. And between all of these families and women, they helped my mom and I really get through that really challenging time when I was growing up. And so the foundation is really focused on that formal way of providing a village for families. We want to get back to the basics with our families and children. We had, for instance, over the pandemic, and even in this Empower Her, Empower Me Summit, we had a Mommy and Me yoga session where now moms can together with their daughter be able to learn how to de-stress together. We had the events, the sessions focusing on confidence. Momfidence is what we named one of the sessions. And it's moms need to understand that their self-esteem has a lot to do with parenting, how they parent their daughter, because that's where daughters get their self-esteem from, is from the mom, the confidence. We also focus on financial literacy. Many times as women, we're very visual, and we want to make sure that we're not just spending. There's a term, retail therapy. You know, a lot of times when you're feeling down, you might want to go shopping, and you really need to start focusing on investing and saving. So we want to teach children now, beyond, the debit card, because we're living in a world where kids, unlike myself, there's a debit card. You don't even see the transaction with money and counting and banking and things like that. So we had a financial literacy session, and we had a cooking demonstration, because now we're living in a world where children and families are doing a lot of fast food, a lot of eating out. There are no more, kitchen activities where mom is teaching daughter how to bake a cake. So we wanted to make sure, and that's a very powerful activity together for moms and daughters and sons too, to be able to cook together, and also to focus on health and nutrition. Not only what are you cooking, lots of things helps your skin, lots of things help you, your energy. So we kind of wanted to give them that information as well. So we did that in March. It was March the 25th. It was an amazing event. We had a fashion show for moms and daughters, because we want to make sure that women and girls know that your image means a lot. We focus on pretty now in the media. What is pretty? People are getting, all kinds of, changing their faces and bodies and things like that. But we want the girls to know you have to focus on pretty starts from within. Pretty with purpose. What is your purpose? What are your gifts and talents? So that was the main reason why I created this event, is to focus on helping the moms and the daughters realize that there's certain things to consider when you're developing and when you're growing together. Your relationship should be a relationship where you really are helping one another. Empower her, empower me. You have to think about yourself individually. What kind of image that you're projecting. We focused on, what to wear in our fashion show, Mommy and Me fashion show, that what you're wearing, that first impression means a lot. So all of those things and conversations, I think, when I was growing up, that I got from my grandmother and from my older relatives that really imparted wisdom as I was growing up. Many of these families, these children are not getting that for whatever reason. So our signature event, Empower Her, Empower Me, next year, it will be Empower Him, Empower Me, because we're going to focus on helping the moms and the sons, because moms, boy moms, and I'm one myself, we need a lot of help too. Even though, like I said, I always say no disrespect to the men, but moms are the foundation. And, you know, that boy and that mom have a special bond, just like the dads and the daughters have a special bond. And we need to get empowered to kind of help our sons. Some moms don't have a father figure around to really help. And some dads really don't know how to help that mom and daughter, mom and son, as well as mom and daughter relationship, because it's different. So we want to focus on helping the moms get the tools that they need to help their young leaders, because especially with the males, we have to train them up. We can't just love on them, because I know I'm a mom that love my sons, but I need to also focus on I am supposed to be training him up to be somebody else's husband or somebody else's dad and so forth. So I believe moms need that kind of help as well.
Well, thank you for sharing all that. We only have about a minute left, so I'd like you to do this before we give a website and how to donate, volunteer, be a part of Youth EmpowerMe Foundation. What one takeaway, Olivia, would you like our listener to go away with when it comes to what you're doing right now?
Well, I just believe that we're all on this earth to serve others. And I think if you're fortunate enough to be given the skills and the tools to help you be successful, that we should reach out and help others. And I believe families are so important because they make up our communities. So one of the things that I think will be so helpful is that we all work together to help each other, but also help our families and our communities, because that's where the break is. That's where the children really have these needs that aren't fulfilled if the families aren't strong enough. So my takeaway is let's all work together, whatever tools, whatever talents, whatever gifts. If you're financially secure, let's all be hands-on, hands-in, because our families are hurting. You know, they're broken. They really need support. And instead of shaking your head and saying, looking at our youth and saying, you know, poor, you know, I don't know why they're acting like that. I don't know why they're dressed like that. I don't know why they're misbehaving. Instead of shaking your head and looking down on them, let's help raise them up. Let's do what we can to support them.
I love that.
And it starts with the family. Yeah. It really starts with the family.
That's really well said. If anybody wants to partner up with you, donate, volunteer, or just find out more about Youth EmpowerMe Foundation, what's the website for them?
YouthEmpowerMe.org is our website. And there you can donate. We're having a fundraiser coming up at Topgolf at the National Harbor. And we need funding to help us create and have an amazing event for the mothers and sons next March 2024 at the hotel at the University of Maryland. So please visit our website. We're on social media. We're on Facebook and Instagram. But please consider to donate, because we had a fabulous event and very uplifting, very powerful event for the moms and daughters. And we want to do the same for the moms and sons. So if you could participate in our fundraiser, it's going to be on June 15th. It's called Kicking It with Dad at the National Harbor. And it'll be 3 hours of fun, and we will have raffles and food is included. So it'll be a fun day with dads. It's that week of Father's Day, because I wanted to make sure that dads have something to look forward to on Father's Day, because that's usually what my husband complains about, is the moms get all of the attention on Mother's Day and not Father's Day. But please visit our website, youthempowerme.org. You'll see some of the things that we've done in the past. We're on YouTube. We have videos of the sessions that we did virtually for 2 years, 2020 and 2021. We did virtual summits where we had breakout sessions virtually. So you can actually see those on our website. And there's a donate button. Again, I can't express how important it is to support the foundation, because we want to change lives. We want to uplift our youth, and we want to strengthen our families. Our communities will be strengthened one family at a time.
Agreed. Olivia, I can't tell you how much I appreciate your time. Congratulations on 3 decades of being in education, doing all the wonderful work with young children, and also starting this foundation. And thank you so much for joining us on CEOs You Should Know. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity.
Our community partner M&T Bank supports CEOs You Should Know as part of their ongoing commitment to building strong communities. And that starts by backing the businesses within them. As a bank for communities, M&T believes in dedicating time, talent, and resources to help local businesses thrive. Because when businesses succeed, our communities succeed.